and Percy backed away. With that, Gordon came into Nefer Station. He buffered up to the coaches. Come on, Gordon. We gotta make up for lost time. Hurry. We can't be late. Gordon started to slow down as he approached the first station. He slowed to a stop. Finally a stop. Gordon lit on passengers. They got on the train. And Gordon took off. But just then, Faulty Point switched Gordon onto the branch line. Stop! When Gordon woke up again, he was in the steamworks. All sorts of engines were there. Diesels and steamies. Just then, Billy puffed up. Oh, hello, Gordon. I'm pleased to see that you're awake. That was a bad accident that you were in. I'm so glad that you're back. Billy smiled cheerfully. He was happy that Gordon was back. I'm happy too, Billy. But what are the damages? Well, about that. Billy eyed Gordon's boiler. It had some cracks in it. A workman was working on his wheels. They had also been damaged. Gordon looked around. He saw a few engines. He saw Ferdinand from Misty Island and Stepney and Stanley. Are those engines okay? Gordon asked. Oh yeah, they're fine. It's just that you are hurt. You're the real one that's hurt here, Gordon. Well, how long will I be here, Billy? Well, Gordon, a boiler damage is a long thing. It takes a lot of time to heal. So, you're going to be here about 2 weeks. Gordon was furious, but he did understand the situation. A broken boiler was no joking matter. He had to be fixed fast, so he didn't argue with Billy. Meanwhile, back on Sodor, the engines were still cleaning up Gordon's mess. Sir Topham Hatt checked at the scene of the accident. My, this is a bad accident, he said. He looked around. Engines were clearing up the wreckage. Topham Hatt stepped out of Winston. He stepped out of Winston and walked across the rubble. He stood on top of a freight car. Hello, everyone. I do understand that we are all fazed by this accident. Gordon is now out of service. I hope everyone can manage. Topham Hatt's voice boomed across the yard. I'll be changing jobs. For you, Thomas, stay here and help until I can get further jobs for you to do. Now, Henry, you will most likely be working at the quarry. These are your jobs that you're assigned. Thomas, stay here to help. And Sir Topham Hatt stepped off the car and walked off back to Winston. "Goodbye, everybody," Winston said, but Sir Topham Hatt was already driving away. Now, who runs the main line now, you may ask? Well, Sir Topham Hatt has acquired 2 engines from the mainland to help out with the jobs. Meanwhile, the other engines stay and help the accident or other jobs. But knowing Sodor, once a crash happens, word spreads around pretty fast. First, word travels from Knapford Harbor, and Hero takes the word to the sheds. "Everyone, there's been a huge crash at the docks," Hero said. The other engines were in a state of shock. Meanwhile, Toby had already ran down the branch line to spread the word. Toby goes to Knapford and brings the word to the crew at the yard there. Oliver and Scruff. "There's been a huge accident at the docks." Oliver didn't let Toby finish his sentence. He was already talking to Bertie. "Oh, I can go and tell the China Clay crew. They don't want to know this." And Bertie raced down the road and traveled to the China Clay Works. Bertie skidded beside Duke. He'd begun to tell the whole story thus far. And by now, the whole island knew about the crash. And now the whole island was worried about Gordon. Weeks passed by. Just as fast as the progress on Gordon's boiler happened, so did the docks. Soon the mainland engines became less of a constant sight, and more of the engines were put back into their old, better jobs. Pretty soon, Gordon was bound to come home. But at last, one morning, it was time for Gordon to leave the steamworks. "Well, it was a nice time having you here." "You too, Billy," Gordon said, and puffed away. It was a long ways home from the steamworks. It was a long trip, but Gordon finally made it by the break of dawn. He arrived at Knapford Station. "Look, there he is," Thomas said. Up ahead was Gordon, puffing down the line. Just then, Knapford Station burst into a chorus of cheers and whistles. "Thank you, everyone. Thank you." But even he was drowned out by everyone's whistles.